Welcome back to the channel. Drew here, and we are going to talk about what every single tour host, the vital things they should be focused on going into December and January, closing out the year. And then we're going to talk about specific information that's very unique to 22 and 23. We're also going to cover the best tax advice for the Turo business. Let's talk about it. Let's jump right in. I always recommend three specific things. The first thing is to analyze your numbers. And December is a month of analyzing your numbers. And that means calculating, which vehicles are profitable, which vehicles are just kind of treading water and are not profitable. Running all your numbers on your profits and loss. And there's a lot of vehicles that you may look at the platform and the platform looks like you're very profitable. But when you analyze the cost of those vehicles, the total cost of the vehicles, it might not be as profitable as you think. You can see the ebbs and flows of the business in your season. Check your goals. I always recommend having some goals at the beginning of this tour season. If you follow my channel, remember one of my goals was to purchase 5 vehicles and to have $100,000 in profit on those 5 vehicles in 12 months with very limited maintenance costs. And so we're going to evaluate that, and we'll drop a video and show you exactly how I did my goal. Number 2 is adjusting your fleet. So once you've analyzed the data, then you can make minor changes to your fleet. Now remember, we got to be careful because now rates are a lot higher. So if we have lower interest loans on some of our vehicles, that may be a good reason to keep that vehicle longer on the platform. Because to replace that vehicle, the rates are going to be probably 3 to 4% higher than you had on those previous vehicles. Now, is there any vehicles you need to sell? December is a great month to sell those vehicles. The last week of December will be one of the biggest sales week for dealerships. So that means that one, if they're wanting to buy vehicles, 2, they're wanting to replace vehicles they just cleared out. And so you can still get some money for vehicles in December. It won't be the same in January and February. January and February are 2 of the slowest months at car dealerships. And so as far as purchasing vehicles, they're not going to want to be paying top dollar for that. So keep that in mind if there's vehicles you need to unload, unsell after you've analyzed which ones you want to keep and not keep. Number 3 is preparing for tax season. As far as a tax season goes, I want to give you 3 key tax advice when you're preparing for tax season. And the first is get a good tax professional. If you're running a Turo business, anything more than 1 or 2 cars, don't try to do this on your own. You need a good tax professional. Now, your tax professional doesn't have to be an expert in the Turo business, but he does need to be an expert in small business taxes. Number 2 is the more income that you make, the more you will need to purchase newer, nicer cars to have those tax write-offs to limit your tax, the taxes that you'll have to pay in as far as that goes. So that's very, very important. And if you're not aware of how that works, that's why you need a good tax professional. Going back to point number 1. And then number 3, be aware of specific changes for this coming year. Obviously, we already talked about the new big EV tax bill that's rolled out. And this is a big change. I recommend most tour hosts should try to purchase at least one vehicle that qualifies for the EV tax credit, because it is a large tax write-off, anything from $4,500 to up to $7,500. And that is profit that can go right back into your bottom line, at least one a year. And you can only use it once a year as far as that goes. And so if you haven't used it for 2022, you should try to find a vehicle, possibly, if you need to add a vehicle that you can slip in at the end of the year. And then you have 2023, the whole year, to try to look at the new EV tax bills. Now, the new EV tax bill is not a simple bill. There's a lot of articles out there that break it down. I believe EV Technica has a really great breakdown of all that. And there's a lot of fine print and different things. So, for example, one is that if you don't make a lot of income, then you can actually purchase a pre-owned EV next year and get up to a $4,000 tax credit. Now, there's limitations on the income. Now, the vehicle's got to be under $25,000. There's limited amount of EVs that in that $25,000 price range, and so make sure you're aware of it at the beginning of the year, so if you see something like that, you can capitalize on it, because the more people that are aware of it, the harder it's going to be able to find $25,000 or less EVs on the market. Now, a key point to that is that the vehicle has to be purchased from a dealership. And you say, well, that's not fair. Well, the reason it is because basically if you were selling vehicles private party, people do this all the time where they'll purchase a $50,000 vehicle and then they'll say they only paid $25,000 for it, and the government does not want that to happen. Do your own research on this and find out what parts of the EV tax bill is applicable to you, and that'll help you in making decisions for this next coming year. 2023 is going to be a unique year for Turo, and so you need to be forward thinking. And what I mean by that is you need to be thinking, not necessarily, what vehicle is going to rent the most, because there's a lot of question marks about that. I think, I've talked about that in my other video as far as how to recession-proof your fleet, and watch that video, they'll give you advice. But you have to be forward thinking on what vehicles are going to hold value. So we're already seeing a huge crash in the prices of vehicles, pre-owned vehicles, and also new vehicles are coming down, and they're coming down quickly, especially the more expensive vehicles. So be forward thinking on, if we're going into a recession and people's budgets are going to get tighter this next year, and I think pretty much all of us would agree with that, then what types of vehicles are going to are going to hold their value? And that's why I'm looking at a RAV4 Prime. I'm looking at a Outlander PHEV. These are plug-in hybrid vehicles that I can get possibly some tax benefits, and their vehicles are going to hold their value very strong in a recession type environment. And I'm purchasing a Ford Lightning Pro. It's the base model Ford Lightning. What types of vehicles are going to hold their values in a recession environment? It's lower cost, high efficient vehicles. A $40,000, $50,000 electric truck definitely will hold its value. An $80,000, $90,000 electric truck, not so much. And so you want to be thinking about that and make safe purchases for this coming year. And rates will be a challenge. We're going to talk about that in future videos to come. How to get good quality, good loans when you need to purchase vehicles, as far as that goes. So December is a time of analyzing your numbers, adjusting your fleet, and preparing for tax season. Until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'm out.